Those random interests pulling at your attention, they're not random. They're signal. They are calls to adventure that most men have forgotten how to hear. Every day, millions of capable men ignore the subtle signals of their genuine interests, pointing them towards the path of their highest potential. I've been there. We dismiss curiosity as unrealistic fantasy and slowly trade our potential for comfort. The cost? Our vitality. We'll be exploring how the spark of interest ignites the flame of transformational adventure. Let's begin. The divinity of interest. Jordan Peterson, one of the most prominent intellectuals of our time, recognizes this phenomenon for what it is: a divine mechanism hardwired into the human psyche. In his book, Maps of Meaning, Peterson highlights the claim that each individual has divine capacity within, the potential to transcend who we are today and walk towards the highest good. His proof? The mysterious force we call genuine interest. Think about it. Interest is never something willfully created. It is a force from seemingly beyond that directs our attention towards the path that is most meaningful. Let me share a personal story of how this divine mechanism works. The reason why I grew up intellectually was that at some point in high school, I got obsessed with the brain and the mind. I still remember the exact moment that the interest started to grip me. I was sitting in my room, 2 a.m., my mind racing about the possibilities of consciousness and cosmos. That spark changed everything. I wanted to understand the nature of reality and the psyche through which we view it. This desire became all-consuming. The call of interest forced me to get my act together and transcend that boy that I was at the time in order to set myself up for studies in medicine and neurology. A decade later, I can look back, and even though I did not pursue the path of the doctor, I did end up setting off on an adventure that led me to an Ivy League and challenged me to grow way beyond the person that I was when I first heard the call of interest. I aimed up, and while I didn't necessarily reach the early version of my goal, the orientation was directionally correct, and I ended up higher on the other side. In Harry Potter, the snitch is part of the Quidditch game. It is a small golden ball that flies around the field. It sparkles in the light, and when you spot it, you're meant to pursue it, chase it with all your might, best it, and capture it. And if you do, you win the entire game. Victory is yours. Think of spotting the snitch as a spark of interest. When we see it, we are to pursue it and try to overcome any challenge that we're faced with when we're trying to catch it. If we do so successfully, we win a round of the game we call life. That is, we earn the ability to transcend into a higher version of ourselves. But the metaphor goes way beyond modern narrative. In Greek mythology, the god Mercury, the divine link delivering messages between the gods and the mortals walking the earth. He too is a symbolic embodiment of the divine nudges that point us in the right direction when we most need him. At any point in time, there are an infinite number of possible things we could be paying attention to. Your interest highlights a singular, most important thing out of all of the options that you should spend time on. It points us at the door leading to a journey of adventure through self-mastery and self-overcoming. So why the claim of it being divine? It is a phenomenon that occurs basically outside our conscious mind. Whether you call it the frequency of the universe, your subconscious biology, the voice of your ancestors, or God, the spark of curiosity lies beyond our conscious psychological processes. We don't ask for curiosity to manifest. It occurs spontaneously. The key insight is, in an infinite ocean of possibilities, your interest highlights exactly one thing you need to focus on. Think about the last time interest gripped you. What was it trying to tell you? Dangers of ignoring its message. The most tragic thing I witness is capable men ignoring the call of genuine interest. They hear its whisper, but dismiss its possibility as unpractical fantasy. And with every time the call is ignored, the signal grows dimmer. The consequences are subtle at first, a gradual settling for comfort and acceptance of mediocrity. But like all things left stagnant, entropy takes its toll. The man who repeatedly ignores his divine compass doesn't just stay the same. he deteriorates. And this is where the danger lies. We aren't meant to remain unchanged. A life without a stream of novel challenges is a life where we lack the friction that is meant to hammer out our weaknesses and propel us to grow in the places where we need it most. Recognizing interest as a divine messenger isn't just helpful advice, it's the first crucial step in the journey of transformation. So yes, ignore these signals at your own peril. Calibrate yourself to listen. We all experience the spark of interest and can further practice to improve our listening. Here are 4 essential concepts to best harness your interest. First, orient towards the highest good. This might be the most important one. Interest is a mechanism that will point you at the most relevant thing you need to pay attention to in order to reach your aspirations. Your interest is ambivalent whether your aspirations are good or bad, great or mediocre. So the question becomes, how do I receive the greatest messages if they are going to occur spontaneously anyways? The answer is, in order to receive the greatest messages, you have to orient yourself towards the greatest possible place you can conceive. What this place looks like is for you to decide, but this version of yourself is probably strong, a net positive to society, has professional prospects, has friends, and a loving family. Dare to imagine that. 2. Create space for signal. You can't listen if there's too much noise. And the tragedy of modern society is that noise is always there. It's always on, and it's always loud. It's hard to conceive anything of your own if all you have is impressions of other people's opinions of what life should be like. You have to be intentional. Cut back on stimulation. Allow yourself to be bored, and you'll start to listen. Amplify through action. While you can't manifest the messenger of interests at your will, you can definitely beckon him forth. You can practice active decluttering through meditation or explore a certain part of a problem space by writing about it. Beyond that, dare to ask. You'll be surprised how often you will receive an answer. 4. Balance interest with implementation. As you can imagine, if you never listen to your interests, you will never end up working on something with enough passion to become great at it. Yet, a danger of over-indexing on always pursuing every interest you see is that you will never bring about the consistency needed to become great. This is a valid concern, but I also think it is a misguided application of the mechanism of interest. If you're truly oriented towards a single vision you would like to reach, then there are at most 1 to 2 things that you should really be paying attention to. If throughout the day it seems like there are multiple things that are interesting, it likely means that the place where you're trying to go is not clearly defined or is switching around. Let that sink in. The clearer your vision, the more consistent your interest signal is going to be. Isn't that fascinating? So, reiterating the first concept, nail down your orientation first, where you want to go, and start listening second. The spark of interest isn't just a productivity hack or a self-help concept. It's an ancient mechanism woven into the fabric of human experience, a compass pointing towards your highest potential. But here's what can make this journey truly remarkable. Once you learn to listen and start following the guidance of your interest, you'll inspire others around you. They'll see you reaching for the highest good and will start doing the same themselves. Is there anything greater than inspiring those around you to become a higher version of themselves? The choice now lies before you. You can return to the noise, the endless scroll, the dopamine escapism, or you can start listening to the divinity of interest and follow it on the path of transformational adventure. I've given you an introduction into how things work. It's now up to you to take the first step. The interest you felt while watching this video, it's not random. Thank you for watching. I'm Jens, and this is just the first step on this journey. If you want to go deeper and understand how you can calibrate your internal compass better, check out this video on subconscious programming. This is Order in Chaos, and as always, onwards and upwards, my friend.